I just watched the 2 RimWorld episodes, then found that this was streaming. Gonna have to wait for the replay, but looking forward to the conclusion. Hey, Mr. Stu. Then moved up. I'm still expecting a cliffhanger ending after the spruce maroon armor. Well, yeah, there's a very good chance of that, actually. Right. Now, before we do anything, let me have a quick look at Silence Alarm. Oh, okay. We've got something else in it. Slower, heavier shock attack, and the ability to override unlocked machines. Alright. Oh, it is straight up electrified. Huh. That is an upgrade. Fair play. Well, took us a long while to finally find out what was beyond it. But that is not the sun over there. And it's very worrying what that is. Oh! Sobek journal. What? Gene locked for Elizabeth Sobek. Oh, that's right. Future solution. Yeah, Ted Farrow, Travis Tate. Core control log. Eleuthia runtime check. First meeting. So we've got 1 undiscovered audio point. Oh my lord, that's so frustrating. Liza Sobek memorial. Emergency recording. We got all of the hologram data points. Still missing 3 here. So, oh, here we go then. So these are the Sobek journals. File damage under repair. Oh, okay. 11/1964. Just wrapped inspection of Gaia Prime site. Construction is well underway. Reactor installed. Plans for control room remind me of starship bridges on those cheesy old sci-fi vids. Living spaces for alphas already completed. Prefab modules. Fingers crossed we never have to seal ourselves in here. Not that Elysium sounds much better. Spent last week at the Bryce site, designing Zero Dawn project labs, drawing up protocols. The base we're repurposing was huge, plenty of room for workspaces and residence blocks. The work crew's already set up my office lab. I'm not a fan of the glass wall. Guess Murray's intention was to ensconce me as all-seeing presence. Ugh. Opposite effect. Makes me feel watched. On display. Tempted to paint it over. Harry's recorded his presentation yesterday. Suitably bleak. Scheduled to record mine Friday. As soon as reception, lounge, holo theatres, the first residence block at the ZD site are finished, we'll start processing the candidates being held outside Tuscan, 27 already. Extraction teams prioritizing Pac, Rim and Aussie candidates. How scared and confused they must be, snatched off the street, carted across the world, held in cells. Here's hoping they understand once they see the big picture. Going to catch a few hours of sleep here, then fly back to the ZD site. Harry's promised delivery of QB lattices by noon. Expect Mark 1 will take 2 weeks to machine, assemble and test. I aim to launch Gaia at 06T grounding. From here, I'll spin her up past 1T. Wonder how long it'll take to break the 1.38T record. MIE can go hang. Sleep. Okay. Now at this point, I think part of it is probably an encouragement for you. Like I wondered, is it game time related now or progress, like quest progress? Uh-oh, Your shop battery level low. Thank you for warning me. Just gonna switch over the controller. Uh-oh. There we go. Perfect. Switching over to the second one. It's been a while since I've needed to use this one. I guess 10 hours of gaming is a bit much for the controllers. Psst, weak. Weak. Who built you controllers? Ted Farrow? My lord. Disgusting. I need redundant systems. Nuclear batteries. The other controller. Human control.
And one of these.
I wonder if controllers, were they sapient, would see themselves as the ones controlling the game, or just a tool, a middleman. Now, if Ted built them, they wouldn't try to eat me. Now, if one of Ted's engineers built them, there's a significant possibility that they might, based on Ted's specifications. But yes, as I was saying, I wonder if it's now based on game time as the various sections unlock. Go that way.
Snow. It's not getting any warmer out here.
My headphones, that's 20 hours, yeah. Yeah, my Mifo headphones last a stupidly long time as well. So how do I go down? There we are. Because if it's game time, I may as well walk to Meridian. So then, chat, I realize that many of you watching have already played the game, so it's hard for you to answer this directly. But of those of you who hadn't already played the game, or were basically living through the story along with me, and for those of you who have played the game but can remember your first playthrough,
This grapes.
how did all of this pan out based, in comparison to where you thought things were going? Especially the stuff with Apollo and Ted. Because I had the benefit of theory crafting basically as I was playing right now. Feels hopelessly empty, this area. I imagine it would have been quite rewarding to finally get to that zone after defeating all of the machines that were here. But for the fact that, we just sequence broke massively. Excuse me. A bit of a frog in my throat there. My mind's been blown multiple times throughout this, and that's after having watched theory channels and spoilers. Lol. Wow, really, Marissa? Carax. While I wasn't entirely sure about the AI at first, the rest was quite easy to guess from the outset. Oh, okay. By the rest, what, like, do you mean like the stuff with Ted Farrow and you know, the fact that he was the reason why Apollo got nixed, all of that sort of stuff? Because honestly, I didn't see that one coming until we started. The moment Margot was talking about unsolicited emails and stuff like that, I was like, oh, okay. And like how he wants to know everything was like, yeah, he seems the sort that might want to have his fingers in the pies and might not trust other people to do it right, even though he was the least qualified person to do anything. Yeah, I didn't see Ted killing the alphas. That I didn't see until we walked in the... I mean, it immediately fell into place when I saw it. More or less. That just immediately kind of just all slid it into position. But the Apollo stuff, once Margot started mentioning the emails, like, okay, this could go in a couple of different ways. And it ended up being one of the ways that I considered it. Hello. Oh, that's part of the... Oh, right, I get you, Kaz. That's part of the AI. I'm talking about Aloy's origin and such. Oh, right, you figured out she was a clone right from the beginning. Okay. Oh, well, you know, I imagine not right from the beginning, but, you know, it fell into place for you pretty quickly. All right, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I didn't cotton on that Aloy was a clone until, well, I suppose it was fairly hard to answer in some ways, because it was one of many possibilities that entered my mind when the machines confused her for Elizabeth Sobek. And the whole mystery around, you know, who was her mother and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, there was clearly something dodgy going on there. But I wouldn't necessarily say that I immediately thought, yeah, definitely clone. Or anything along those lines. Oh, I didn't need any. Okay, fair enough. That's why I fell off. But the specifics of it. That Gaia basically created her as the last thing it did before it destroyed itself, because it had such faith in Elizabeth Sobek being able to fix the problem. Like, I wouldn't have been able to guess any of that until pretty much the moment that Gaia said, yeah, you know, I made you for that reason.
Let's see you catch us.
Goodbye. We've got 1,600 meters to get to
I can get out of this.
Meridian. I wonder if this could leap down the cliff. Might be able to, you know. Don't mind us. Just passing through. It's fine. Oh, keep going. It won't be fine if you stop. It is only fine if we continue to move. I can't see the tower, unfortunately. Don't forget to give your shiny maroon armor a quick test. Oh, that's actually a good point. I didn't think she was a clone. I thought she was a descendant until I got to the area that explains it. Well, the whole clone thing was in my mind because the machines were confusing her for Elizabeth Sobek. Now, it wasn't necessarily the only theory, but there was no part of it that was like a distant relative. Because the odds of a distant relative having a near enough match that that like a DNA scan would confuse it. A very slight, but a very close relative. When she was talking about the possibility that, well, maybe some of them survived, my mind went to cryogenics. I thought, oh, what if Elizabeth Sobek? What if some of the ancients actually survived somehow? And that Aloy was a direct descendant of them. But no, it turned out that Aloy was straight up clone. Not quite where I was expecting it to go, but... Till he finally went outside. Bless him. Imagine if Gaia had failed to self-destruct and instead was able to isolate and hide herself like Cyan. I think Aloy would have had a few choices, words for the AI. Well, maybe. Maybe. Oh, we're by the mine, so we're quite close to Meridian now. Well, obviously, it keeps telling me I'm only like 500 meters away, so... Hello, excuse me. Is that excuse me? Aavak, you just ran over that boar and left it. But going back for it would have been boring.
This isn't up to their usual standard.
You deserved that one, Bilal. I hope it hurt you as much as it hurt me to say it.
Just conveniently lose Dervahl and transport to Mainspring.
I can only assume that they can see this flashy sparkles all over me, and that when they look at it, like, what on earth? It's, I mean, I don't know what would be the equivalent of an angel in the Sundom's religion. Oh no, that wasn't nearly payback enough for the armor. Damn it! No, the suffering is going to be immeasurable. It's going to take years for you to forget.
Don't let your guard down.
Therapy. You'll have to go to therapy. That's how much of an impact the eventual cliffhanger is going to have. It's going to be like the Wheel of Time. I'm going to cliffhanger so hard I'm going to die before I finish it. That's how all-encompassing that cliffhanger is going to be. Okay. Oh, they're that way. Hello. Have I got a story for you?
Aloy, what brings you to Meridian?
A threat. Helis commands a legion of fanatics called the Eclipse. They will attack soon from the west, with an army of ancient war machines. But that's not the worst of it. They'll bring a mind with them, god, demon, machine, whatever you want to call it. It's called Hades. And it doesn't want Meridian at all. It wants the Spire. And if it gets there, it will send out a call, waking more ancient machines, more than we could ever defeat. All will be lost. We can't let that happen.
I'm trying to understand, but my responsibility lies with Meridian.
Meridian isn't the target, Avad. You have to defend the Spire.
Perhaps the Vanguard, Your Radiance.
Yes. Send them to the Spire. Aaron knows Aloy. He won't question it.
And have the city guard fortify the western ridge. There they can be seen to protect Meridian and the Elite, where the Spire rests.
Okay.
Aloy, allow me to apologize for my behavior before. After everything that happened with Ursa, I was confused.
It's one way of describing it.
If we're to fight together on the brink of life and death, I'd prefer to do so with your forgiveness.
Then you have it. As long as you don't confuse me with her again.
Even a king can learn his lesson. Good then. I'm glad that's behind us. Now, it will take time to prepare our defenses. Please, tell me what you know of our enemies. Everything.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
know
your
about
brain could handle
everything,
it, but
I'll tell you what I can.
okay.
Have you spoken to Blameless Murad?
Not
No.
yet, but I will.
He wishes to speak to you. Defensive preparations are his responsibility.
Okay.
Quietly does it. Panic in the city will only create another enemy. And do keep me appraised of each new arrival.
Hello.
Ah, Aloy. Preparations are underway on the rigid defenses and at the spire. Word was sent to every corner of the Sundom. Our allies offered their steel. Some came for Meridian, others for shards. But many came for you, by name.
Oh.
For me.
Don't be so humble.
Well, you know, I guess that's the benefit of completing every side quest in the game. Okay, the ridge.
The ridge will be the front line. That's where the city guard are holding?
Yes, bolstered by some of the irregulars I spoke of before. The Oseran cannons that thundered Meridian's walls in the Liberation will now defend us. You're welcome to tour the defenses.
Okay.
And the spire. Erend and the Vanguard are there?
Indeed. Clashing breastplates together and testing out their battle cries, I suppose. A number of the Nora have also arrived at the spire. They have resisted the offer of a royal audience. Perhaps you could parley with them.
I will.
Okay. And what happens now?
I suppose all we can do is wait for the attack.
Exactly. It's not a feeling I cherish, but our spotters at Evening Sign report there's still no movement in the west. So, if there's more you need to do elsewhere, seize this time to do it. Otherwise, I've made the apartment of Olin Delverson available to you. You can sleep there. if
Oh,
sleep
old
comes.
Olin. Alright, we can tour. I am absolutely going to do all the optional things. For obvious reasons. Oh. Okay. Well underway. Reactor. No, that's not it. This one then, I guess. Last time I visited Prime was November of last year. Months since have been a blur. Flew out last night to oversee installation of the central armature and the master override. You're welcome, Ted. Which was completed by 04:30. So I decided to grab a few hours of sleep here before heading back to Zero Dawn. Called Gaia before I bedded down, ostensibly to update her on the site plan. But the truth is, I missed her. I've developed a habit of speaking to her before I sleep. Seems to be the only thing that calms me these days. Woke to a message from Oswald. The Odyssey launched yesterday, so terrestrial life's chance of survival has doubled. Why, then, do I feel so uneasy? I just keep wondering what kind of world Far Zenith will create if the ship reaches its destination. So many decades from now. And I worry about the alpha build of Apollo. So much knowledge, so few restraints, and no failsafes. How will they avoid repeating our mistakes? What's to stop them from playing God? Oh. Oh. Hey, Party Bear. Hello, Raiders. Thanks for joining. How you doing, mate? Hope you had a wonderful stream. Just got us towards the end of Horizon Zero Dawn. Where it feels like the ending. If there's loads after this, then color me surprised. You're playing The Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. Oh, I can honestly say, hand on heart, I have no idea what that game is. Color me curious now. Man, I'm going to be so many different colors by the end of the stream. Thank you so much for dropping by, everyone. You should play Nancy Drew game. Games are like Pazzi. Okay. I mean, I can't say I've ever heard of Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. I will have to look it up. It's a puzzle-like game. Okay. Now, so I don't lose my train of thought. You'll have to forgive me for a few moments, Raiders. So, the Far Zenith was, or whatever is the project on the Odyssey spacecraft. So Apollo without any fail-safes or restraints. Is it possible that the signal that originated from wherever was from them? If they were going to be at their destination in decades' time and building a world out of it. She just read us a bedtime story and sang us asleep. Oh, that sounds absolutely amazing. It sounds like you had an absolutely wonderful time. Man, I can't remember the last time I had a lullaby. Goodness gracious. It was immaculate. I can only imagine. I will have to catch a Fuzz. Please do make use of the Shadow Commands chat. If you aren't already familiar, then do give Fuzzy a little bit of your time. Pop on over. Have a look around if you like what you see, and a follow is very easy to do, costs you nothing. In fact, it's basically free. Literally is free, in fact, which is the best kind of free, the literal version. Now, I wonder if this had anything to do with the signal that woke up all of the AIs. I wonder. I've been doing a lot of theory crafting towards the end of the game today. This one's too open-ended for me. Forwarded the Odyssey message to the Alphas. NATO replied in less than a minute with a poem, of course. The Building of the Ship by Longfellow. And it's long, all right. I didn't read all of it, but it seems to be about launching a ship rather than building one. This stanza, or couplet or whatever, leapt out at me. Humanity, with all its fears, with all its hope of future years, is hanging breathless on thy fate. Yeah, Odyssey and Zero Dawn both. Speaking of which, I should get back to Zero Dawn. Guess I should stop by NATO's lab and check on Demeter's progress too. If I can get out of there without a volume of Tennyson pressed into my hand, I'll count myself lucky. Till next time. Well, that would explain Demeter, then. That would explain why all of the flowers had poems in them. That's actually quite wonderful. Oh, Jessica, thank you very much for gifting a sub there. That was really, really kind of you. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you, Belial. Oh, that was very, very kind of you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Diolch yn fawr, mate. And Decasaurus, thank you very much for the gift as well. I was incredibly kind of both of you. Please put plenty of love in chat. Don't hold back. It's fine. If Nightbot shouts at you, I'll shout at it more. But quietly. You won't hear it. It'll be code shouting. It's the only kind of shouting the Nightbot understands. Aavak, how are you still awake? Do you want the chemical answer? Because I can give you the chemical answer. I can explain to you how my brain hasn't entered maintenance mode yet. It's the tea. Well, I mean, you're kind of right. It's basically blocking certain receptors in my brain. See, every time you think, every time you convert ATP, you leach the energy out of it. Every time when your neuron fires, it needs that electrical energy. Anyway, every time it does that, it basically starts building up chemicals in your brain. You can think of them as sleep signals. Your brain has a certain amount of thought processes it can perform before your brain is like, yeah, I've done way too much thinking today, I need to sleep. But you see, the receptor that detects the presence of that particular chemical, if you block it with something that isn't that chemical, it's like, yeah, I'm not detecting that chemical, it's fine. But it can't detect the chemical because something's in the way. It's blocking the door. So my brain's accumulating enormous amounts of this chemical, but it can't do anything. It doesn't know it's sleepy, but it is. And then when eventually all the caffeine runs out and stops blocking those receptors, my brain's going to be like, oh my God, I'm so tired. How? How did this happen? 1 second I was fine. Next second I'm almost dead from tiredness. And then I'll sleep for like an hour or two. It's how it works. It is. It's like a legitimate chemistry there. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. It's so incredibly kind of you. We are on a hype train. Diolch yn fawr, pawb. Thank you very much for all of the cheers. Rearranged Robot. Love the name, by the way. Thank you very much for the gift sub there. Yes, draconic power naps, yes, indeed. Just long enough to convince your brain that you had to sleep. Your brain is very easy to hack. It's a fantastically powerful device. But just because it's super complicated and super capable does not necessarily mean it's super smart. It's very easy to trick. Your brain is like a super innocent savant. It's an incredibly gifted child. But it's still a child. It doesn't understand the world of adults and deception. If you tell it, I'm not tired anymore, it's like, oh, okay. That makes sense to me. I mean, you slept and you're not tired anymore. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, no, absolutely believe you, because you would never lie to me. Never. But you do all the time. You're always lying to your brain. Oh, Vanya, no worries, mate. Take care. Thanks for dropping by, though.